Hi, welcome back to my channel, Homestead to Health. My name is Caitlin, and today me and my oven mitt and my wood burning kit are poking holes at the bottom of red Solo cups. And the reason I have all these cups is because my husband likes to have get-togethers. I like to have get-togethers too, but he really likes to have get-togethers that require red Solo cups. And this wood burning kit, look at that perfect hole. I mean, it's super easy, but I have to burn holes into these red Solo cups because some of my plants out in the greenhouse, namely my nasturtiums, they're ready to be potted up, and I already have a bunch of these laying around. I'd rather, you know, find a new reason for these cups than to go out and to buy something that I don't necessarily need because I can use something at home. So instead of buying bigger plant cells, I'm just gonna invest my time in poking holes in every single cup. This Wednesday coming up is the moment for me to plant out my 8 weeks until spring starters. Technically speaking, it was 2 weeks ago, but I'm working on a hunch, and so I'm doing a 2-week delay on all of my seeds and plants, because even though our last frost date is April 1st, I'm not going to plant things until about April 15th or April 16th. And the reason I'm doing that is because our weather is funky, and it's been funky for a while. But yeah, so I'm doing a 2-week delay because last year I remember moving here from West Texas with those 9 tomato plants, and I remember that I tried to put them in the ground as soon as I got here, but I couldn't because it rained non-stop for weeks, and it also had a very delayed frost come through, and we thought we were going to lose the plums on our plum tree. So you never know with Texas weather. It can be extremely hot one day and then just completely different the next. And I feel like everybody from everywhere says that. But, I mean, it's pretty true for us, I know for sure. And so what I want to do is I want to make sure that whenever I do put my plants in the earth, that I make sure that I'm not doing it in a time that, like, I have to put them in because they're getting too large for the containers. And I go ahead and I put them in the ground and then they get drowned out or bogged down or what have you. So I'm just doing a little delay. You know, 2 weeks delay isn't going to hurt anything. But I'm going to just carry on here. Poke a hole, put a cup down. Pick up a cup, poke a hole. So while I'm doing a labor of love over here, I kind of want to talk about what's going on outside. Right now, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know that I have finally been able to bring in breakfast from the chickens. Old butt fruit is what I call it. But I went out the other day, and in my lady rabbit's hutch, I walked up to the rabbits after not seeing any eggs in the chicken coop. I came up to the rabbit's hutch, and in both of my females' rabbit hutch, there was one egg in the middle of their hutch, and I was like, are these Easter bunnies? But it turned out that the chickens had been roosting above the rabbit hutch, and whenever they laid their eggs would come out and be inside the rabbit hutch. And very long story short, I found more eggs over there, and so now I'm working on a way to get my hens to lay their eggs in the run before I let them out for the day. And I'll take you out, I'll show you what I set up today, but you should know that while I have my husband to help me out, I'm going to be enclosing our chicken coop within like the next week or two. And it's something I'm very much looking forward to. I mean, I can't wait for it. I'm so excited. And so what I have set up today is very temporary, and it was very on the fly, and don't judge me. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to finish poking these holes, and I'll take you outside and I'll show you what I got. But I also want to say that there are so many things on my to-do list that I'm like mentally trying to churn through. In my last vlog, I said that I had more on my mind than on my to-do list, and that was only partially true. I have a to-do list and a can-do list, and sometimes I just need extra help at home from my husband or a friend or a family member And in those times where I have a little extra help at home, my to-do list gets transferred over to my can-do list. And so that's what we're going to be tackling within the next couple of weeks. I have so many things I have to do. If you haven't already subscribed, you're not going to want to miss it. I have new animals coming onto the farm. I have fences going up. I have a garden that's going to be tilled up. I have a lot coming up between the months of February and March. So hang around. Oops. So as you can probably see, I went back and I poked a few extra holes more than just the one in the center. I wanted to make sure that whenever I put plants in here and then I would water them, that they had to have plenty of drainage. And I've unplugged my wood burner, so now it's time to go outside. Aw, look at these beautiful flowers my husband sent me for my birthday. Aren't they perfect? That's the way to a gardener's heart, is through her flowers. Okay. Here we'll just come outside and take a little peek-see. This isn't chicken coop related, but I want to show you what's inside my low tunnel. Hey girls. Y'all want to know what's inside my low tunnel too? Still just lots of green. Lots of little green babies. Probably didn't see too much up close. Everything's still pretty small, but everything is coming up. I don't think that there's one section in there where the seeds haven't come up other than carrots. The carrots are a little slower, but all of the brassicas are up, all of the lettuces and beets and radishes and all of that fun stuff, all of that's up already. So I guess we're best friends. You best friends? Sometimes my chickens will come up to me and they'll want to be pets. They're super personable. They'll let me cuddle them. They'll let me pick them up and carry them around. And then other times they avoid me a little bit like the plague. So this is my makeshift nesting area, complete with patio umbrella. So the plan is, in the mornings I will come in and I will feed them, and then I will get on this side of their coop so that whenever I let them out I can make a quick escape. And then hopefully they will come in here like so. Get in there. Get in there like so and make little egg babies, huh? Well, make little delicious breakfast babies. You like the idea? Yeah, girl, that's it. Get in there and make that thing home. Oh, yeah. While she's getting comfortable, I'm going to go ahead and walk around and talk a little bit more about what my plans are as far as all the other plans that I was talking about needing to get done. So, but mostly I want to say though that, like, you probably noticed that wasn't the best looking nest situation, but regardless, I think it's going to work, and I don't think that they're going to have a problem with the aesthetics of it. This honestly might be a terrible spot to vlog because Purdy wants to play right now, and I'm headed to go walk her, but she might get a little loud because she's an excited baby. My other plans that I have to do within the next week or 2 or 3 weeks, moving between now and March, I talked a little bit about other animals, about fencing, but some smaller, more minor things that I want to do. My goat milking station, I made it for free. I made it with like scrap materials that I found around the property, mostly stuff left over from a construction project my brother-in-law did for my father-in-law. And it's worked great up until recently the legs are starting to fall off of it, and I did find the frame on the side of the road on Halloween Day. It's an old coffee table, and whereas it was cool and it's what's supporting the platform itself, the legs aren't holding up. And so what I'm going to have to do pretty soon is to establish new, stronger legs on it. If you've watched my past vlogs, you've probably heard me say that I'm having a hard time milking our herd leader, Rizzo. She has just decided that she's not going to be milked, and she has also started to dry up because it just, about the time that I started wanting to milk her and really trying to commit to it was also the same time that she was weaning her buckling, and I think it was a my bad, honestly. Like I tried too late. So taking that knowledge forward, I want to start milking our other doe who's in milk, Daphne. In order to do that though, I need to really come through with consistency. And so my goal for that is to fix the milking station so that there's no problems. Before it was sitting in a puddle, and I've moved it to higher ground because there's been a lot of rain recently. And whenever it would rain, I wouldn't want to milk. Things are starting to get noisy. Let's go. Whew. I had to move because things were starting to get a little too noisy for me over there. I get pretty easily distracted. So here we are on the porch, and look, I found my jacket. Whew. It's getting brisk. So, of course the chickens followed me over here. So moving forward, what I had to do was fix the goat milking station, and then put it on higher ground because whenever it would rain, it would puddle deeply where it was, and so I wasn't being consistent because anytime it rained I wouldn't milk the goats the next day, so I would just leave them with their babies. And from everything that I've read, whenever it comes to your goats, consistency is always key. You really need to be consistent, and that's something that I'm very much aiming to do but struggling with. So one way that I'm going to help facilitate that consistency is to completely move the milking station. I'm going to put sturdy legs on it, and I think that I'm going to move it inside the barn so that even on rainy, very cold mornings or windy mornings or whatever, that we could be in the barn and it would provide some comfort for the goats and less distractions. Sometimes in the morning, especially whenever I'm milking the goats, Purdy is just going nuts. She's so excited to see me. She's so excited for breakfast. She is so excited for breakfast. But also, I let her have a little bit of goat milk in the morning, and whenever I milk the goats, and I think that she's become spoiled to it because she's so excited. Anytime I'm milking the goats, she's like, oh yeah, I know what's coming. And so, moving forward, putting the goats in the barn to be milked and to separate them from all the noise and the clutter of the other goats and from Purdy's excitement, I think would be a much more peaceful environment where they would be a little bit more at ease on the milking station. And so that's something that I'm going to be working towards. Next thing on my list is tilling. So while my husband is home, I'm going to borrow my dad's big tiller, and I'm going to finally start on my garden plot over here on the larger flat side of the property. It's something I'm super looking forward to because I'll be able to test the soil and see what I really need to do as far as amending the soil to make sure that my garden's as healthy as it possibly can be. A little gardening tip that's not so groundbreaking, that's a pun, is that a pun? Is if you want really healthy plants, you need to start with really healthy soil. I've been reading a lot of gardening books during the winter that we're going through right now, the winter / spring / summer that we're going through right now, and there's this one book in particular that even said that having the right amended soil cuts down on your amount of pests. And I've been doing a lot of research on that, and before I just start teaching others, I found out with the goat's butter that I really want to start kind of experimenting first and to see what really works and what doesn't work, and then being able to share it with y'all. Because while I love learning and having an audience watch me on my journey, there are some things that I want to do with knowledge back behind me. And so teaching people about how to amend your soil, that's one of them. you know, follow me along with recipes to see what works and what doesn't work, yeah, I'll share that. But watching me struggle to make sure that my dirt is as healthy as possible, I'm gonna do that one in private at first. But we've covered goats, we've covered dirt and gardening. Obviously, I was doing the cups to start more plant seeds on Wednesday, and the chickens we've covered. And who does that leave? Does that leave puppies, George? No, nothing new with puppies. The bunnies, that's where I'm forgetting. So what's new with the rabbits? We are supposed to be due for kits, which is baby rabbits. We're supposed to be due for kits this coming week. This coming week. Very long story short, our rabbits were our very first animal that we had on the homestead, and we tried mating them for well over 6 months, and it never worked. With the assumption that it was our female, we have replaced her with other females of the same kind of the male. So they're all Californian rabbits, and whereas she was like a cross of some sort. And we tried troubleshooting it, we tried facilitating the romance, we tried everything that we... Ma'am, could you? Thank you. We tried facilitating the romance in any way that we could, but it didn't work out. And so this is their first time, the new females, having been kindled with the male, and only one of them is due right now. I'm kind of just waiting in anticipation to see what happens, because I'm a little worried that it wasn't the female's problem, that it was probably the male's problem, as to why we weren't having kits here on the homestead. But I mean, time will tell. We'll see. She's been giving her nesting box, and she is starting to nest and to really get in there and get comfortable. And a telltale sign that labor is imminent is if they start pulling fur from their chest. And so I'm on the lookout for any cues and things like that. But with having new baby rabbits come through, when we do our deconstruction on what is the chicken run now, we'll have a lot of fencing material, hopefully that's usable, and I'll be able to make and show how to make chicken tractors and rabbit tractors, because there's more than one new animal coming to the homestead soon, and I don't want to give out anything. I think I've already mentioned it in a couple of vlogs, but I think I just want to save this for a little bit of excitement. So yeah, so if you haven't already, subscribe. I know I said that already, but it's really exciting stuff that's coming up. I'm extremely excited to share it. We didn't really do much today, but thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you aren't already, follow me along at on Instagram at Homestead to Health. Yeah, I'll see y'all later.